Kiwi fruit may be eaten raw, made into juices, used in baked goods, prepared with meat or used as a garnish. The whole fruit, including the skin, is suitable for human consumption. However, the skin of the fuzzy varieties is often discarded due to its texture. Sliced kiwi fruit has long been used as a garnish atop whipped cream on pavlova, a meringue-based dessert. Traditionally in China, kiwi fruit was not eaten for pleasure, but was given as medicine to children to help them grow and to women who have given birth to help them recover. Raw kiwi fruit contains actinidane, also spelled actinidin, which is commercially useful as a meat tenderizer and possibly as a digestive aid. Actinidane also makes raw kiwi fruit unsuitable for use in desserts containing milk or any other dairy products because the enzyme digests milk proteins. This applies to gelatin-based desserts, due to the fact that the actinidane will dissolve the proteins in gelatin, causing the dessert to either liquefy or prevent it from solidifying. In a 100-gram amount, green kiwi fruit provides 255 kilojoules of food energy, is 83% water and 15% carbohydrates, with negligible protein and fat table. It is particularly rich in vitamin C, 112% DV, and vitamin K, 38% DV, has a moderate content of vitamin E, 10% DV, with no other micronutrients in significant content. Gold kiwi fruit has similar nutritional value, but higher vitamin C content, 194% DV, table. Kiwi fruit seed oil contains on average 62% alpha-linolenic acid, an omega-3 fatty acid. Kiwi fruit pulp contains carotenoids, such as provitamin A, beta-carotene, lutein and zeaxanthin. Kiwi fruit, often shortened to kiwi in North American, British and continental European English, or Chinese gooseberry, is the edible berry of several species of woody vines in the genus Actinidia. The most common cultivar group of kiwi fruit, Actinidia deliciosa, Hayward, is oval, about the size of a large hen's egg, 5 to 8 centimeters in length and 4.5–5.5 centimeters in diameter. It has a thin, fuzzy, fibrous, tart but edible light brown skin and light green or golden flesh with rows of tiny, black, edible seeds. The fruit has a soft texture with a sweet and unique flavor. Kiwi fruit is native to central and eastern China. The first recorded description of the kiwi fruit dates to the 12th century during the Song dynasty. In the early 20th century, cultivation of kiwi fruit spread from China to New Zealand, where the first commercial plantings occurred. The fruit became popular with British and American servicemen stationed in New Zealand during World War II, and later became commonly exported, first to Great Britain and then to California in the 1960s. Kiwi fruit can be grown in most temperate climates with adequate summer heat. Where fuzzy kiwi fruit A. deliciosa is not hardy, other species can be grown as substitutes. Often in commercial farming, different breeds are used for rootstock, fruit-bearing plants and pollinators. Therefore, the seeds produced are crossbreeds of their parents. Even if the same breeds are used for pollinators and fruit-bearing plants, there is no guarantee that the fruit will have the same quality as the parent. Additionally, seedlings take 7 years before they flower, so determining whether the kiwi is fruit-bearing or a pollinator is time-consuming. Therefore, most kiwi fruits, with the exception of rootstock and new cultivars, are propagated asexually. This is done by grafting the fruit-producing plant onto rootstock grown from seedlings or, if the plant is desired to be a true cultivar, rootstock grown from cuttings of a mature plant. Kiwi fruit plants generally are dioecious, meaning a plant is either male or female. The male plants have flowers that produce pollen, the females receive the pollen to fertilize their ovules and grow fruit. Most kiwi fruit requires a male plant to pollinate the female plant. For a good yield of fruit, one male vine for every 3 to 8 female vines is considered adequate. Some varieties can self-pollinate, but even they produce a greater and more reliable yield when pollinated by male kiwi fruit. Cross-species pollination is often, but not always, successful as long as bloom times are synchronized. In nature, the species are pollinated by birds and native bumblebees, which visit the flowers for pollen, not nectar. The female flowers produce fake anthers with what appears to be pollen on the tips in order to attract the pollinators, although these fake anthers lack the DNA and food value of the male anthers. Kiwi fruit growers rely on honey bees, the principal, for hire, pollinator, but commercially grown kiwi fruit is notoriously difficult to pollinate. The flowers are not very attractive to honey bees, in part because the flowers do not produce nectar and bees quickly learn to prefer flowers with nectar. Honey bees are inefficient cross-pollinators for kiwi fruit because they practice floral fidelity. Each honeybee visits only a single type of flower in any foray and maybe only a few branches of a single plant. The pollen needed from a different plant, such as a male for a female kiwi fruit, might never reach it were it not for the cross-pollination that principally occurs in the crowded colony. It is in the colonies that bees laden with different pollen literally cross paths. To deal with these pollination challenges, some producers blow collected pollen over the female flowers. Most common, though, is saturation pollination, in which the honeybee populations are made so large, by placing hives in the orchards at a concentration of about 8 hives per hectare, that bees are forced to use this flower because of intense competition for all flowers within flight distance. Kiwi fruit is picked by hand and commercially grown on sturdy support structures, as it can produce several tons per hectare, more than the rather weak vines can support. These are generally equipped with a watering system for irrigation and frost protection in the spring. Kiwi fruit vines require vigorous pruning, similar to that of grapevines. Fruit is borne on 1 year old and older canes, but production declines as each cane ages. Canes should be pruned off and replaced after their 3rd year. In the northern hemisphere, the fruit ripens in November, while in the southern it ripens in May. 4-year-old plants can produce up to 14,000 pounds, 6,400 kilograms, per acre, while 8-year-old plants can produce 18,000 pounds, 8,200 kilograms, per acre. The plants produce their maximum at 8 to 10 years old. The seasonal yields are variable. A heavy crop on a vine one season generally comes with a light crop the following season. Fruits harvested when firm will ripen when stored properly for long periods. This allows fruit to be sent to market up to 8 weeks after harvest. Firm kiwi fruit ripen after a few days to a week when stored at room temperature, but should not be kept in direct sunlight. Faster ripening occurs when placed in a paper bag with an apple, pear, or banana. Once a kiwi fruit is ripe, however, it is preserved optimally when stored far from other fruits, as it is very sensitive to the ethylene gas they may emit, thereby tending to over-ripen even in the refrigerator. If stored appropriately, ripe kiwi fruit normally keep for about 1 to 2 weeks. Pseudomonas syringae actinidae, PSA, was first identified in Japan in the 1980s. This bacterial strain has been controlled and managed successfully in orchards in Asia. In 1992, it was found in northern Italy. In 2007-2008, economic losses were observed, as a more virulent strain became more dominant, PSAV. In 2010 it was found in New Zealand's Bay of Plenty kiwifruit orchards in the North Island. The yellow-fleshed cultivars were particularly susceptible. New, resistant varieties were selected in research funded by the government and fruit growers so that the industry could continue. Scientists reported they had worked out the strain of PSA affecting kiwifruit from New Zealand, Italy and Chile originated in China.